River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Niner Nuts. Dan here with just Eric this time. Eric, say hello. How are we doing?
Been better.
Yep, indeed. That was quite a game yesterday. The City of Angels once again became a circus of nightmares, or City of Nightmares, if I want to be formal about it. And we let the game slip right through our fingers. It was the fifth time that Kyle has lost in his tenure with the Niners, having a double-digit fourth quarter lead, which I don't know if that's it's 5 times in 7 years. Like, this is a disturbing pattern with Kyle. Like, no, it's not a great thing to have, but like 5 times over 7 years. I mean, the only one I'd really like overreact to is the Super Bowl, but in this one is just because it's the season right now, and this leaves us at 1-2, which is not ideal, but we shall further dissect after I get through my nerdy number stuff. We lost 27-24 on an almost walk-off field goal. There was still 2 seconds left on the clock, but just to knock the numbers out of the way, Purdy did have over 300 total yards and a quarterback rating of 137. Didn't throw a pick, but he did lose a fumble on the 1 sack that he took. Jordan Mason screwed up our parlay, went under 100 yards, so thanks for that. But Purdy showed off his legs a lot and got 41 yards on his 10 carries, so that was pretty good. The one holy crap highlights are one, like, the guy that earned the black necklace if we won this game, 100%. The best thing we had going for us besides Purdy playing like quarterback that's worth $60 million. Juwan Jennings was the first Niners receiver to go over 150 yards and 3 touchdowns since Jerry Rice. I think it was in 95 is what I saw it was. So just, we'll give him all the roses, bouquets worth of roses here in a second. As you see here, no one else really needed to do anything, or really did do anything, I should say. We did need one guy in particular to do something.
Yeah, we'll get to him in a little bit.
Yeah, and then there's nothing really. Too many defensive numbers to go over, and God, our defense. I have a few thoughts on our defense. Matthew Stafford, of course, always an Iron Man. 220 yards, 105 passer rating. They were just shy of 100 yards, but even though, yeah, we kept them as a team under 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, and I want to find, after Tutu Atwell, he really stepped it up. Jordan Whittington, Jesus Christ, he only had 3 catches, but his 3 catches were just back-breaking for us. I was trying to find the team stats, which are, because I wanted to highlight again. Hey, look at that. It was only 5 of 12 this time, so a little bit better. But once again, we were very bad, especially when you combine the 4th down. So 7 for 14, that's still 50% 3rd and 4th down conversion. Not ideal. To our 6 for 11, which that doesn't look as bad as we played. But man, look at that. 425 for total yards to not even 300, like just shy of 300. We had so many things go right on offense.
Yeah.
And Brock Purdy, like I said, was playing like he deserved like he deserves $60 million. He's looked phenomenal the last 2 weeks. And shout out to Jawan Jennings. Like I didn't think he was going to do this good, but if I remember right, I was the one telling you like, no, he'll be fine as a number 2. He'll like, don't worry about it. He'll be a number 2. He's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what's going on with our defense. Our defense just couldn't get to Stafford the way that the Cardinals did, which is really saying something because their offensive line is awful. Our pass defense, Hufanga, sure, I'll give a little pass too because this was his first game back in like 10 months. But I don't know what's going on with Jair Brown. I think Ward might have been playing through an injury because Ward got gashed a lot. Yodom, or however you pronounce his name, he got gashed a lot. So I don't know what's going on, but our rush isn't getting there, so our corners are getting burnt. And then it's a 56-yard kick. I'm not going to burn Moody too much. I'm more concerned about that punt return. I'm more concerned about our special teams defense because we allowed a huge kick return and we allowed a huge fourth down fake punt conversion too. Our special teams were not ready on the coverage side of it, like, and that was all it took. We couldn't deliver any kill shots, and the Rams, when the moment was right for them, they struck and they hit us right in the mouth. And I like the way that Kyle put it. We had to take away their hope, and like 4 or 5 times we just kept giving them hope, playing with our food, and we just we had ample opportunity to finish off this game, and yeah, we didn't. And we could have been dissecting like why we only beat them by 7 points or why we only beat them by 3 points, or if all things went right, we should have walloped these guys by like 20 or 30 points. But here we are, we've lost by 3. And we're not the ones to answer what the defense needs to do. It's on coaching. It's on Nick to finally get it together. And I know I said last week that we start out the first half of seasons rocky typically, which is not a great thing to do, but that's the only silver lining I have in this besides Brock Purdy is playing like a $60 million quarterback. Like, and I'm hoping that since LA wasn't the get right game, New England's not that good. Maybe New England can finally be our get right game, but we'll just have to see that on Sunday, because for now, all we can do is just process what the hell happened yesterday, how a game so winnable ended up just slipping through our fingers. Like, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, the answer lies in a couple of things. Really only one phase of the team played well, and that was the offense. The offense put up 24 points. That should have been more than enough to beat a Rams team missing its 2 top receivers and depleted in many other areas.
3 offensive line starters.
Yeah. And the defense just didn't get it done. We're having a lot of problems in coverage this season. Our safeties can't cover anyone for whatever reason. And we're letting teams get a lot of big plays. One of the hallmarks of this team over the last 4 or 5 seasons has been that we don't give up big plays. We might let teams, bludgeon us to death and nickel and dime us to death and, paper cut us to death and create a 15 play drive and go down and score. But the idea is that we're going to make you, use a lot of time and make you take a lot of plays, because every one of those plays is an opportunity for a mistake. Every one of those plays is an opportunity for a miscue. Every one of those plays is an opportunity for a turnover. And, by not giving up the big plays, we're forcing you to just sort of chop your way down the field. And that plays into everything that we want to do as far as ball control and controlling the clock and making you take a lot of time to generate offense. And we're not doing that this season. We're continuing to give up big plays, gave up the big bomb. Jefferson last week gave up big bomb to Tutu Atwell this week. It's a real problem defensively. So I think the defense needs to get better. I mean, Stafford, he was sacked 3 times. I don't remember 3 sacks. I remember 1 sack where Stafford just kind of threw himself on the ground. But I don't remember the other 2 sacks. So that's fine, I guess.
Okay, Collins. I do remember Collins.
Oh yeah, Collins did get one. Yeah, that's
Collins
right.
had
I
a
remember he had one.
Okay, and Sam Sam got credit for his sack. That was the one where Stafford just gave up because Sam shoestring tackled him.
Yeah.
And
But I
then,
mean,
and then Hargrave, I don't remember Hargrave's, but I remember Collins and Sam's.
so I mean, for them having the offensive line problems that they were having, we should have had 5, 6 sacks, lots of pressures. And there were plenty of times where Stafford was just standing back there dealing the ball. And I mean, Stafford might be 36, 37 years old, but he's still got a lot of arm talent left, and he can still spin it with the best of them. And so, it just ended up being a situation where the defense just really let the team down. And then special teams continues to not be good. We had a punt blocked already this season. We've got a missed field goal now this season, which, it's 56-yard field goal. But, I don't know. Like 50-yard field goals are not uncommon in the NFL now. So, I don't know. It's make, miss, whatever. But, he missed it.
He had the distance. It just needed literally like a foot to the right and it would have made it. But
yeah.
I mean, it's horseshoes and hand grenades. You missed.
Yeah. And then, we gave up a big punt return. It's just special teams has been bad. And then we're also, granted, the Rams just kicked it out of the end zone every single time, but we haven't done anything. I guess I'll say offensively. I don't know if you would really consider that to be offensively, but when we get the ball on special teams, we haven't done anything on special teams. When we return the ball, we just run into the pile of people, and that's the end of it. We haven't created any offense or generated any good field position special teams wise so far this season. So it's just been a disaster on those 2 phases of the ball. Offensively, I thought we did all the things that we were supposed to. Mason only got 77 yards, but he looked good running the ball. Purdy looked great throwing the ball. I didn't see him really make any mistakes. He looked a lot more comfortable than he did last week versus Minnesota. So whatever voodoo that Brian Flores cooked up last week, apparently they don't replicate that in LA. So that's good. Because Purdy was dropping back and hitting his spot and the ball was coming out, or if he did drop back and it didn't come out, he was looking around with purpose. He didn't look confused looking around. I don't know how you can distinguish that to me anyways.
The more operative, or the way I would describe what was happening, especially in the second half, yes, I agree. He was looking with purpose and he was definitely not flustered, but how much more lacking, since our pass rush was lacking, the Rams pass rush was even more lacking because Purdy had so much time.
Oh yeah.
I like what Mark Sanchez said. I generally don't like him, but I thought he was really funny when he was like, he was checking his emails, he was checking my emails, he was checking your emails.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had a ridiculous amount of time and absolutely no pressure in the pocket whatsoever. Our offensive line did a great job protecting him today.
Yeah, they did do a very good job. And you already highlighted Juwan Jennings. He was an absolute stud. That one catch that he made where he just grabbed the ball around the other guy, that was phenomenal. He really showed up and showed out, and he's going to, if he continues to play, not necessarily at that level, because good grief, if he plays at that level, he's going to be Randy Moss by the end of the season. But
We're going to be facing some tougher corners down the stretch. He won't face a secondary that bad too often.
Yeah, but I mean, if he's even able to play at a level, just below that, I mean, he's going to fill in just fine for Debo while Debo's out. So, I have a lot less concern there. I'm still concerned that Ayuk isn't really impacting the game. I mean, he had 48 yards. I mean,
he was a part of this dropping problem that we had. 10 targets and 5 catches, and for only 48 yards. He had I would love to bash Ronnie Bell. I'm containing myself.
I'll do that for you if you would like.
I still have his card up here, but I was just waiting for the news that he got waived today, and it didn't happen. But we can't excuse some of the drops that Brandon had. Brandon had some pretty damn bad drops too.
Yeah, but Ronnie Bell, I don't think has caught an actual NFL pass yet. So I mean,
he did here.
He's got one. Okay, fine. He's 1 for 4 in this game because he had 3 frigging drops. So Ronnie Butterfingers Bell needs to not see the field anytime soon, anytime ever again. I don't care who they have to call up. I don't care who they have to play in his place.
Cowing.
That's fine. Cowing, Conley, Trent Taylor from the practice squad.
That's what I'm saying. Cowing doesn't even have to be called up. We are only using Cowing as a return specialist, which he basically, I think I've seen him return once or twice. Yeah, let's demote Bell to literally dead last and then move Cowing up just because, I mean, it won't be worse. If he's dropping passes, so is Ronnie. We're at least getting a new body in rotation.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you can just deactivate Ronnie Bell for all I care. I've seen enough of him over a year and 3 games that I don't need to see him anymore. He's not good at the number one thing that a receiver needs to be able to do, which is catch the ball. I mean,
none of them were contested either. That's what's even more aggravating. None of them were contested.
No, I mean, the last pass, I mean, he had to jump and spin his body, but it still hit him right in the hands. And so, I mean, you just got to catch that ball. I mean, I don't really know what to say other than that. And I mean, that gives the 49ers a chance to kick a field goal probably, or, do something else. I mean,
did you see Kyle's reaction to that last drop that he had? There's a picture of him literally with his hands up in the air.
Yeah.
Or his head down and his arms up, just Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's got to not play anymore. He's just bad. So, but I mean, the rest of the offense was good. I mean, we put up 24 points. That should have been enough to beat this Rams team. But defense and special teams gave the game away. And here we are, 1-2. I mean, we play New England next week. New England's really, really, really bad. So, I mean, theoretically, it should be a win. This theoretically should have been a win too. So I don't want to say that the Niners are going to go out and pick up the easy dub versus New England, but I mean, they should win that game. It's going to be a really embarrassing loss if they don't win that game, especially if Drake May starts. I mean, that would be really bad to lose to a rookie quarterback making his first start in the NFL. I mean, good grief.
This should be, in theory, a get right game. I've been seeing some of the optimists, which, yes, I'm very guilty of being an optimist, but
you are.
It's not incorrect though to see that D'Amico, that this has happened to us a handful of times where last year we went on a 5-game win streak and then we went on a 3-game win streak and then we made the Super Bowl. But it's not to discount how bad this was. We need to acknowledge how bad this went, how the game was so totally in hand, and then in the a slow train wreck, just the block, The block punt, I hate it. I really don't like surmising problems to one specific thing, but the fake punt, that really was a momentum shifter.
Yeah.
And it happened to us in Minnesota too, where a momentum shift happened and we gave up a bomb and we gave up an explosive, and moments that really do intangibly matter more than other moments, when it's like, all right, we got to make the stop here. We have to make the statement here. Something bad happens. We don't stop the third down. We give up the 30-yard bomb. They become a first and goal situation. We draw a penalty. Something happens. Like when Campbell was trying to guard the tight end, which God bless any linebacker that has to cover a tight end. Of course, his back was facing Stafford. And I bet he wasn't even trying to hit the tight end because he knew just throwing it in that direction was going to get a flag.
Yeah.
Like, when the moment matters, somehow in 3 weeks, we've screwed it up almost every time, even a couple times against the Jets. Like that really long 12-play drive that the Jets had.
Yeah.
We are really, really bad about giving up a play in the big moment. And that's something that has to be addressed, or we're not going to have that rebound in the back half of the season like we've had the past couple years.
Well, I mean, looking forward on the schedule, I mean, if we say that they're going to beat the Patriots, so we're going to be 2-2 after 4 weeks. But then
I might need a week off the podcast if we lose to the Patriots.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I was gonna pull up the schedule here,
but then
just so the viewers could see it too.
But then they've got back-to-back games versus the Cardinals and the Seahawks, which right now at this point in time are, with the way that the division is sitting, those are going to be critical, crucial games, especially the one against the Seahawks that they really just have to win.
That's a Thursday night. That's a Thursday night too. So Cardinals Seahawks in 4 days. That's not good.
Yeah, but I mean, like those are games that they're going to have to win. Whereas earlier in the season, before the season started, it was kind of like, well, they lose to the Seahawks, not a big deal. Well, the Seahawks are leading this division. They're 2 games up on everybody at the moment. And, if we drop to the Cardinals and drop to the Seahawks, that puts us in a really big hole to try to climb out of, the rest of the way going through this season. So
bro, this stretch, if we can't take care of our business and at least get 2-1 out of this stretch, because if we're 2-1, that we're 3-3. If we're not 3-3 or 4-2 before we get to Chiefs, Cowboys, Bucks, Seahawks, Packers, dude.
Yeah.
This 6-week stretch sucks. Jordan Love's going to be back. We're going to be at Buffalo. The Seahawks are just like the Rams. It's a division game. The Bucks, I'm considering the Broncos an anomaly. I'm not assuming in Tampa they're going to be pushovers. Same with the Cowboys. And then the Chiefs are the Chiefs. We cannot drop more than 1 game in this stretch right now.
I mean, you might as well start it with that Seahawks game on Thursday night. I mean, there's no difference than this playing the Seahawks now versus playing the Seahawks later. So, I mean, they've really got to win versus the Patriots and versus the Cardinals and be 3-2 headed into this stretch of whatever it is, 7 games that they have coming up. Because that's where the money's going to be made. And right now, the Niners are not beating the Chiefs. The Niners are not beating the Cowboys. The Niners could beat the Buccaneers because sometimes the Buccaneers just lay a big fat egg.
Yeah. At Lambeau.
They're not beating the Packers at Lambeau, and they're not beating the Bills in Buffalo.
Lambeau Thanksgiving week, not Thanksgiving Day, but Thanksgiving week. It's going to be cold as hell up there.
Yeah.
Even colder in Buffalo after.
Yeah.
That sucks.
They're not beating either of those teams right now. And I mean, that's just the way that goes. So, I mean, this is a bad situation and a bad scenario, and it just continues to get worse because I said podcasts ago that I said this was going to be like 2020 all over again, and we continue to march closer and closer and closer to what was the 2020 season. Hargraves hurt and out now for the season.
Yeah.
Purdy's got a back injury now, and he's now day to day. So you're gonna have to watch that and monitor that, see what that's happening with that. CMC is going off to Germany to get his Achilles looked at and probably get his blood spun and whatever and all of that jazz to try to get him healed back up. He ain't playing this season. I'm telling you, he ain't going to play.
He's not coming back week 6. He's not coming back week 6 or week 5. When you have to go to another country, your IR tag is just pending. Like you're not coming back the day it's open.
He's not playing. So the injuries and everything just keep piling up and keep getting worse. Ward was already playing hurt. Bosa was already playing hurt. I mean, I know there's a lot of guys in the NFL that are playing hurt already this season. Yeah. But it just feels like it's only a matter of time before more guys get hurt and this just spirals further and further out of control. And we get to the point where we don't have anyone else that can stand in and that can fill the gap. You know what I mean? I mean, like, we were very fortunate. Juwan came in, he filled the spot for Debo, took care of that, did great, and looks like he'll be able to carry that forward just fine. But, we don't have anyone that can replace Bosa, although I guess Bosa has like 1 sack this season, so I don't know really how much he's really doing. But, I mean, we don't really have anybody that can replace Ward at corner. We don't really have anybody that can place Warner at linebacker if he gets hurt.
Oh God! Oh my God!
We certainly don't have
cooked in the middle of the field if something happens to Warner.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have anybody who can replace Purdy. If Purdy ends up having to miss a game or two because his back is too sore that he can't go, I mean, we're done in those situations. So I mean,
I would say the Pasternaut, but Kyle doesn't even trust the Pasternaut because he's deactivated him every week.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just this whole season is snowballing out of control pretty rapidly in my mind. And it just feels like we're going to be sitting here looking at probably, I guess I'll say we're going to beat the Cardinals just to be nice. So, I mean, we'll be 3-2 and then at Seahawks. So 3-3. Chiefs 3-4, Cowboys 3-5, Buccaneers 4-5, Seahawks 5-5. So we're gonna be like 5-7 coming out of this stretch of games that we were just talking about, desperately trying to stay alive to get into the playoffs. And I mean, 5-7 with 5 games to go to get into the playoffs, you've got to win out and get to 10-7 and hope that that's good enough. And do I think that the 49ers can win out at 10-7? Sure, they can beat the Bears because the Bears are garbage, poo, terrible, sucktastic. Can they beat the Rams again? I don't know. Maybe. Can they beat the Dolphins in Miami? That's hard to say. Depends who's quarterbacking the Dolphins at that point in time. Can they beat the Lions? Probably not right now. And then can they beat the Cardinals to finish off the season? Who knows? So this right now looks like a team that's going to struggle to get to 8 wins. And 8 wins is not getting you in the playoffs in the NFC.
No. The way that this team is right now, I agree. Like, it's bad. Like, the captain's got to get together. The Nick Sorensen's got to have a sit down with Kyle and Brandon. Like, they got to figure something out on defense. Like, either the rush has to get better or the back end's got to get tighter. Just something's got to change on defense. Our special teams coordinator really needs to step it up and figure out, like, how the hell 2 weeks in a row? I can't remember. I don't think we blew anything against the Jets. I can't remember if we did, but that's gotta stop. You don't want to have to think about special teams, and we've had to twice now
Yeah.
in very alarming fashion. Like, this is not good.
Well, and I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but I mean, like, we need to start getting value out of the money that we're paying some of these guys, right? So, I mean, like, we pay Bosa a bajillion dollars, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, he's disruptive. He's always causing chaos. Okay, I guess, sure, but it's not generating sacks.
Not even that many pressures either.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's getting some pressures. I'd have to look at all the advanced metrics and all that stuff. I'm too lazy to look that up right now. But I mean, just like, like I see a guy like TJ Watt, he generates sacks. I see a guy like Max Crosby, he generates sacks. I see a guy like Aiden Hutchinson, he generates sacks. I see a guy like Nick Bosa, he's just disruptive. So I'm paying a guy like $1 bajillion to be disruptive. That doesn't really work for me. At the same time, I know it just happened and everything, but we just signed Brandon Ayuk to a really large deal to pay him a whole lot of money because he's a number one receiver. He's a really great guy, and he's supposed to be the leader of our receiving core. He has yet to have a game in which he's really made an impact. He's just kind of a dude running around out there. I mean, I can get 5 catches and 48 yards out of anybody other than Ronnie Bell. So, I mean, we're paying a lot of money, and then we're paying Debo a lot of money, and God love Debo. He's not on the field. He's hurt yet again. So, I mean, I understand that you've got to pay guys to keep them around, and I was an advocate for paying Ayuk. I thought that we should pay him to keep him around, and I still believe that he's a good receiver. I still believe that he has a lot of skill and a lot of capability. I mean, I've seen him play for the last 4 years or whatever it is, and he's clearly good, but he's been an absolute no-show so far through 3 games. And so we can't continue to invest tons of money in these guys and then have them not make an impact. I mean, that's killing us at this point in time. I mean, take Hargrave, for instance. I mean, Hargrave was this dominant defensive tackle with the Philadelphia Eagles. He had like a dozen sacks as a defensive tackle or whatever. We bring him over here, pay him $20 million a year. He was nothing last year, and he didn't do anything this year, and now he's hurting out for the season. I mean, I know you can't control injuries, so I mean, I'm not trying to like put that on him or anything like that, but since he's come over here, he's been basically a non-factor.
He was the nicest I could say is above average, like fringe Pro Bowl maybe, but I wouldn't say he was bad, but in relative to a $20 million a year contract, I'm kind of erring on your side. Like, he was definitely better than Javon Kinlaw. He was much better than Kinlaw, but
Kinlaw was never on the field.
But yeah, he's now probably going to be a cap casualty unless he takes a pay cut.
Yeah, I mean,
and you're right in the bigger picture that Warner's playing like he's underpaid, frankly. And when Kittle, I don't know. We'll see how long this injury with Kittle. Kittle still makes a great impact, so he's been worth all the money. But you're right. Bosa doesn't have 6 sacks, or even 4 sacks, like Hutchinson and TJ. Yeah. And Debo is, I mean, Lord knows when Debo's going to come back from his calf injury. Like, as of late, this year and last year, he's really not made a good case from a physical standpoint to get paid by us again. He was worth it when we did sign him, but now being his contract year, like, if this injury is longer than a month, like, John's got to have to force his hand and say, yo, I can't pay you that much again. Like, you're gone or taking a pay cut.
Yeah. Yeah. So Hargrave last year had
what was it? 8 sacks?
He had 7 sacks. He had 7 sacks, 44 combined tackles. I mean, okay. Like, I mean,
well, as a team, we were not good at stopping the run either. So, like, however you can metric like that success, like get really deep into the weeds. But just from those baseline numbers, yeah, a $20 million defensive
yeah, I
tackle.
mean, $20 million and I got 7 sacks and 44 tackles out of you. I mean, I feel like
How many TFLs was there?
8.
Okay, so single digit TFLs and well, I mean, yeah, single digit TFLs, single digit sacks, and a guy's worth 20 million. Like
For reference, his previous year in Philadelphia, where we signed him as a free agent, he had 11 sacks, 60 combined tackles, and 10 tackles for a loss.
yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. It just seems like an awful lot for $20 million. Like I don't feel like I'm getting my money out of that for whatever reason.
We're not getting the money out of that's the bigger problem with the whole defensive line. And while they're not getting pressure, it's making it even more susceptible to a secondary that was already clearly suspect to begin with. But now when we got a line with a lot more name than play now, like that's just the reality. There's a lot of names, but the plays aren't showing up. So that makes the secondary even more susceptible. Like it's all a domino together. Like Floyd, Collins, Hargrave before his injury, and Bosa. And what, as a team, we have 10 sacks, if that. Like that's not good enough. And we're getting destroyed in the secondary. Our secondary's been torched the last 2 weeks, especially.
Yeah.
Like week 1 was week 1, but Sam Darnold, which sure, maybe a month from now, Sam Darnold will be a legit MVP candidate. I don't know. But we let Matthew Stafford with a JV high school offensive line come back and obliterate us and make Tutu Atwell look like Puka Nacua. Like, not that Tutu is a bad receiver. Tutu is not a bad receiver, but we should have we should have hit Matthew Stafford more than 3 times with what the Cardinals did to it, and we didn't even do half of what the Cardinals did in terms of just Matthew Stafford looked like he was going to crap his pants every time he snapped the ball, because I did watch that game.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford looked completely comfortable, and that's just not good enough with the amount of resources we've poured into this defensive line year after year after year.
No,
it's not good enough.
No, and so far this season, Bosa has he has
2
2
sacks.
sacks.
Mm-hmm.
He has 6 total pressures. He has 9 tackles.
No bueno.
I mean, what is that? I mean, that's you're not even averaging I mean, I guess it's kind of I don't know. I'm paying you like $8 billion. You should at least average a sack a game. Like, I mean, like, I don't think that's asking a lot.
Right. Like I mean, yeah, it's hard to get a sack in the league, but when Bosa had the history he had minus the torn ACL year, like he should be averaging with what we're paying him.
But yeah, so I mean, like, we're not getting good value out of what we spent on Bosa. We're currently not getting good value out of what we're spending on. Let me look up Ayuk real quick. But I mean, like, he's got like 15 catches for like about $150 in yards is what he's got right now.
Yeah, he's consistently been like 40, 50. But he's not broken 60 if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, he has it's even worse. He has 11 receptions for 119 yards. That's it. For $30 million a year. I mean,
what, did he only have 1 catch against the Jets?
He had 2 catches against the Jets.
Jesus Christ.
So I mean, I don't want to harp too much on him because, you know, he didn't have the training camp and everything like that, and so I mean, like,
that excuse is going to run out real quick. 3 weeks, sure, but
yeah. So I mean, well, and I mean, supposedly he was there like doing all like the workout stuff, but I mean, he just wasn't like running with the team. So I mean, like, I don't know, he should have been in like game shape. I mean, it's not like he's taking plays off. I mean, he's out there on like every play. He just isn't. Now, Brock did miss an opportunity to hit him with a big play yesterday. I mean, I've seen that online that Brock missed him for an opportunity, but I mean,
Oh, thank you for reminding me that. Yeah, I don't remember how late in the game it was, but no, I know what you're talking about. It was I think it was in the fourth quarter with that first 15-second scramble drill he had. It could have been done right then, like 3 seconds into the play, because it was a single high and he was going the opposite way of Brandon, and he could have just, it would have
yeah,
been like a 50-some yard touchdown.
yeah. So I mean, like, it's probably not all Brandon's fault, but at the same time, I don't know. You're supposed to be the best wide receiver. You should be making a lot of catches and getting a lot of yards, and you're not doing either right now. So
I will give Purdy the blame for that one. I think that was one of those very rare brain farts. Like, because people have brain farts. I would not say an NFL quarterback is susceptible to that. I feel like the way he played the rest of the game, that's what I mean. Like,
yeah,
just something farted at the very wrong time to miss a home run opportunity. Like, it
yeah.
just, what are the
Well,
odds?
I mean, you just don't. I mean, sometimes you just don't see it. I mean, that's
Yeah.
fine. I mean, that happens. But I mean, just overall, we're not getting. And I mean, Kittle's been having a good season to this point, but again, Kittle is hurt. And
Yeah.
so, here we are paying whatever it is, 10, $12 million a year for Kittle, and he's injured again. So, I mean, I don't know how we get out of this perpetual cycle that we're in, where it seems like we're paying all this money for these guys and they just can't get on the field. Well, here's another example.
The Kittle contract has been worth it. I'll defend that contract.
Well, I mean, what? I mean,
We're already 4 years into that contract. I think it was a 5-year deal, and this is year 4. Like, I think we've gotten our money's worth out of it up to this point.
I mean, I guess there were a couple of years where Kittle was pretty non-existent under the Jimmy G regime. He was a big non-factor for whatever reason. But another person that we're paying a lot of money to, we just restructured his deal, is CMC. We just paid CMC a whole big bag of money. He's not even on the field.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're shelling out money for all these guys, and you hear me out now. Hear me out now. We just paid Trent a whole bunch of money, and I guarantee you Trent's going to miss at least 1 or 2 games this season.
Yeah.
So
the horrible luck of the Christian, like, I can't blame John for that one. I can't blame John for that one. He won the offensive player of the year and his guarantees were out. Like,
no.
Could he have played hardball? Could he have played hardball with Trent more? Probably. The silver lining of Trent's is that none of that money is new. Like, they just guaranteed money that wasn't guaranteed. But to your point, like, yeah, a lot of people we've paid money to 3 weeks in are now not on the field, and that really sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's Trent will get hurt at some point. It just will. He hasn't played 16 games any of the seasons he's been with us.
Nope.
And
so yeah, we're paying a lot of people a lot of money that either aren't on the field, or a lot of people a lot of money that are on the field and they're not doing crap while they're on it. So I mean,
yeah,
it's a bad situation all around right now, and we've got to turn it around.
Fred being the only exception, like,
Fred?
Trent. Trent's been out there this whole time, but Trent's not in game shape. He's left 2 weeks in a row now for a brief period of time to get an IV before coming back. Like, he's not gone for long, but Trent's not in game shape.
Yeah. So, but no, I mean, Fred's playing great. I have no qualms with Fred in any way, shape, or form.
Fred should reset the linebacker market. That's how good he's been playing. Like,
yeah,
I think he still has 2 years left on this deal, but the way he's playing, he's underpaid.
Yeah, but the rest of the defense has just been not great. And
don't you dare badmouth Demo. Demo is the only corner that's playing remotely good right now. Throw Yadam under the bus, throw Ward under the bus. Both are safeties, minus Hufanga. He just came back, but I will defend Demo because I saw
Demo has been playing good.
Lombardi broke down all the defensive backs by target, and Debo literally was only targeted twice during the game.
Yeah, Demo has been playing good. I'll give you that. But Brown has been. You know what? Brown was.
He's had a sophomore slump. Brown
Yeah,
is not
he was.
playing good.
Yeah, he was really pretty solid last year, and he's been bad this season. He's not been good in coverage. He's not been good with. I mean, he's just kind of like not there. And then I don't know. It was Hufanga's first game, so I mean, whatever. That's fine. He'll
He's still better.
eventually.
He's still better than George. George was
Yeah,
bad.
yeah. I mean, so Hufanga will eventually get back to doing some good things. But the problem is that I don't think, and this is going to have to be something that the 49ers are going to have to adjust to. Hufanga is not a cover safety. He's an in the box safety. And Brown, so far this season, has not proven himself to be a cover safety in any way, shape, or form either. So I don't know who the hell is going to cover that middle third of the field, but it's not Hufanga and it's not Brown at this point. So I'm not quite sure what their plan is for that, but they're going to have to figure that out because both of those guys are, Hufanga especially is an in the box safety. I think Brown is supposed to be a cover guy, but he has not been doing that very well so far.
No, he hasn't. I
yeah.
agree.
And I mean, Ward's been fine, I guess. I mean, he hasn't, I haven't seen him really get burnt too much. I mean, he's been giving up some receptions here and there, but he hasn't been bad. But I mean, our front four continues. It's the same crap as last season. We're supposed to have this dominant front four, and our front four just continues to just do crap, and so we struggle.
It all blends in together. Our defensive backs would get some help if the line could create pressure, and the line's not creating pressure, so that's just even more stress that the backs are going to be because they have to keep covering. And no matter what player you are, like what Aaron, like it's, I heard Aaron say it, but I know other quarterbacks have. If you have an A+ offensive line, all your receivers can be D's and C's, and one of them will get open.
Oh yeah,
and our line is supposed to be dominating, and we're like middle of the pack, bottom third. Like it's just the reality of it. And like we have a bunch of names that just aren't showing up with the play, except for Purdy and like 3 other people: Jennings, Demo, Fred. Like other than that, everybody's been either average or sub-average, and it's just not where it is early still. Like it's still, we're just coming into week 4, and we have a prime opportunity to either take advantage of a average Jacoby Brissett or a fresh first game out on the field. Well, technically first start if he starts, but Drake May, a rookie, a pure rookie on the road, let alone like in New England. This is a rookie on the road, or a Brissett that is, he's probably not going to throw a pick, but he's not going to push the ball down the field. He's not going to be aggressive. Like he's a very containable quarterback. We have to figure it out and just try to make New England a get right game, because as we saw, the Cardinals could be feisty if we don't count them in that stretch. But then from Seattle all the way to Chicago, that's a 7-game stretch that really, really sucks. Even though there is a bye week in there, like it's still a hell of a stretch we're about to get into if we do not beat New England and Arizona. And
yeah, Harrison will eat us up right now. Harrison Jr. will just eat our secondary up. So the 49ers are 10-point favorites over the Patriots currently.
That's generous. That's generous. We should not be higher than like 7 or 6.
I wouldn't think so either.
We should be favorites. I agree. We should be favorites, but we should be, I don't know, 5. I don't know, 5. That 5 might be too mean, but we should not be 10. We should not be 10-point favorites.
I would think
way too generous.
I would think a solid 7 would be where I would sit with that.
Yeah, a single touchdown sounds right. I think. Like, yeah, the 7-6, like we're not bad enough for it to be like 4-3. It's not that bad, but like I said at the top, best case scenario, we do turn it into that wild card season where we had no reason to be in the playoffs at that point, but we did, and we got to the NFC Championship, or like that's the best case scenario that this turns into now, or I guess last year when we got to the Super Bowl after a 3-game losing streak. But it doesn't discount the fact that like right now, like we just have to report on what we've seen, and what we've seen is 2 weeks in a row we've really crapped the bed, and it has to change against New England, or the season is not going to end with us in the Super Bowl, let alone the playoffs. Like too many truly inexcusable mistakes, not just flukes. Like these are correctable. That's the thing. We just have to correct them.
Yeah. I mean, they've got to blow the doors off New England. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. I mean, if the New England game is like a 20-7 victory or some crap like that, I mean, like that's still bad. I mean, it'd be great to get a win still, but that's a bad win. I mean, they need to punt New England in the face and make it like 35-7. I mean, that's what this game should be. Anything less than that, just a mud stomping is just not good for us.
Yeah, no, it's like it's like when my mom and I were talking about IU football, and then we'll wrap it up. But we were talking about IU football because they're 4-0, and they were I think they're the only team or the first team, I can't remember, either the only team now or the first team ever to score 200 points in the first 4 weeks of college ball. And my mom and I were like, okay, yeah, but they beat Charlotte, they beat Florida International, they beat UCLA, and I thought UCLA was better than they were, so I'll give them credit for that. But I was like, okay, well, what about when we play Michigan? What about when we play Ohio State? What about when we play Purdue? Like, yeah, you walloped teams that you should have walloped, so maybe they will finally be competitive this year against Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State. But, well, at least they passed the eye test and they were beating down instead of beating Florida International by a walk-off field goal. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Like oh man, we're gonna have to talk some skin in the game. I'll look up that schedule when we're off mic. Because I know IU plays Ohio State. I just can't remember what week.
Fair enough.
Anyway, guys, we have to wrap it up. We're getting close to our time. And to do that, we have to talk about our sponsor, Royal Retros. What is Royal Retros? Is your go-to place to get yourself an authentic throwback jersey, whether it's football, like the reason you're listening to this podcast, or if you're a fan of basketball, baseball, hockey, all the major sports are on there and they got you covered. Check out the Candlestick collection, if I can point right. It's curated with the Bay Area and the 49ers in mind. And when you find something that you like, use the promo code Shady Sports, and that'll get you 10% off of your entire order. Again, it's promo code Shady Sports to get 10% off of your entire order at royalretros.com. Go get yourself an authentic throwback jersey today. Also, guys, we are still selling shirts for charity for going on 2 years now. We were inspired, so to say, by just the lack of accountability when it came to owners like Dan Snyder, Jake Tapper, the CNN reporter, David Tepper, our own CEO, the Colts CEO, Jim Irsay. Just we've noticed just a lack of accountability when it comes to certain actions that owners have versus when a player gets in trouble, like the book's thrown at them immediately. So we were inspired to create a hashtag owner accountability, owner standards over player standards. Hashtag owner accountability is the full sentiment that we've been cheering on for going on 2 years now. And we decided to sell shirts and give the proceeds to Mountain Comprehensive Care Center in Kentucky, in part because of what the Texans minority owner for legality's sake, what he did in Kentucky. We decided to give the proceeds to a women's shelter in Kentucky, Mountain Comprehensive Care Center. And the shirts that we are selling, with whom the proceeds go to them, are here. This is our owner standards over player standards, our kind of basic shirt, so to say. It's got our hashtag, it's got our saying on it. It's got a lot of color variety, a lot of different sizes and styles as well. If you want a crew neck shirt, a long sleeve shirt, got you covered there. Pricing starting at $22.99. Our next shirt is our cover art. Whether you listen to us on a podcast platform or here on YouTube, this is our cover art. You can get a t-shirt and rock your fandom with it. Again, lots of different styles, sizes, pricing starting at $22.99. Our alternate logo with the peanuts and the goalposts. I personally think it looks best in red, but a couple other color options there for you as well. And then our last shirt is our mascot of a peanut eating from a bowl of peanuts with his Niners hat, trying to cope with this week's loss, but staying hopeful about next week in New England. Again, all the proceeds for these shirts go to Mountain Comprehensive Care Center. The link to bonfire.com and Mountain Comprehensive Care Center. If you want more information on either of them, just click the link in the show notes. And with that, I mean, we already said that Javon partially tore his biceps. I guess what I want to do is just just for my own personal levity, and I'm not gonna belabor this too long. Man, that Colts and Bears game was wild.
You are a glutton for bad football,
dude. I can't remember if I said it on the pod or if we were just texting about it, but I knew, because I've been watching Caleb and Anthony all these last 2 weeks leading up to this game, and I called that this game is just gonna be just wild. It is the two most erratic passers in the league, just throwing Hail Marys the whole game, and I got exactly that. And I sent you the box score yesterday because it was 4 total interceptions, 1 passing touchdown, and in Anthony fashion, he managed to only throw 20 passes and only complete 10 of them, along with 2 interceptions. But then Caleb, God bless his arm, it's probably sore today. He threw 52 passes. Like, get out of here. Why was your rookie throwing 52 freaking passes?
Because the Bears are dumb.
Oh, their offensive line is terrible. Their offensive line is so bad. And Anthony basically, like you called, Anthony's basically playing his rookie year now instead of last year. It was madness, and I loved every second of it. It was going to end up being who didn't screw up in the fourth quarter, and the Bears ended up screwing up last in the fourth quarter, and the Colts capitalized, and that's how they won. But yeah,
the Bears screwed up. I'm so shocked.
Oh man, no, trust me. They both tried to give each other the game. It was like a reverse. Yeah. It was like reverse hot potato. Like, you have it. No, you have it. And the Colts ended up just 20-10. That game was just, it was objectively terrible, but also amazing at the same time to say I watched a game with quarterbacks playing that poorly as professional football players. It was remarkable.
Yeah, I don't know why you would have Caleb Williams, who hasn't proven that he can throw the football at all yet at an NFL level, drop back and throw the ball 53 times. That makes no sense whatsoever. But that seems just like
so many Hail Marys. So many just blatant overthrows and underthrows and just pick after pick after pick.
Yeah.
It was everything I expected that game to be, and then honestly a little bit more. Like,
and God love Anthony Richardson. The only thing he can complete are 50-yard bombs.
Yeah, to Alec Pierce. Yeah. Alec Pierce is the only guy that he can hit. It's again, only 20 pass attempts. You completed 10 of them, and you still managed to throw 2 picks. Like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah. He's a very, very very raw talent. He's a very raw talent. I'm not sure that he's got a. I mean, I see why teams were all over him and really wanted to draft him and thought that he was going to be something in the NFL because he's a big kid. He's a big guy. I mean, he's tall. He's a big guy. He's got a howitzer clearly for an arm, but I just don't know that he can put it all together. He doesn't seem like. Just doesn't seem and granted, like you mentioned a couple minutes ago, I mean, this is kind of sort of his rookie season because he only really played like about a game and a half last season with all the injuries that he had because he kept coming out of every game that he was in. He didn't finish an entire game last season. So I think he finished 2. So yeah, really he played like 3 total games worth of actual NFL snaps last year. Yeah. So I mean, this is still basically like his rookie season. So I mean, maybe there's still time for him to put it together. But man, he seems just so raw that, like, I don't know if a coach is going to be able to have the patience to really last with him long enough to get him to the point where he's more of a polished gem. You know what I mean? Like,
He's got a better coach than Caleb.
Oh yeah,
he's got I'd rather have Shane Steichen. I'd rather have Shane Steichen with a rookie than Matt Eberflus. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, of course. I just, and I mean, at least this is Steichen's first year, so he'll get a pass this year. He'll get a pass in. Is this his second year?
Yeah, because it was basically the Minshew show last year because Anthony got hurt so early. But yeah, Steichen was last year.
Okay, well, I mean, he'll get a pass this year on it, and so I mean, he'll have this year and next year to kind of really shape him into what he wants him to be. And so, you know, this year you really just want to see progress as you get to like week 14, week 15 or whatever, and see that he's able to do some things a little bit differently with the football, be a little bit more precise. Cause like right now his completion percentage is like 50%. Yeah.
It's atrocious. It's atrocious. His and Caleb both have atrocious touchdown to interception ratio and completion percentage.
I championed the fact that Caleb Williams was not good for many, many, many episodes of this podcast. And so far I have been right.
Man, I really didn't I figured he was going to have some rookie hiccups, but I thought it was just going to be hiccups. I didn't think he was going to be literally throwing up on himself every week. He is bad.
Yeah.
His offensive line is not helping him.
No.
His offensive line can't. Dude, no quarterback would succeed with the offensive line. But at the same time, god damn, dude, like some of those passes are just, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Like, god damn.
My Bears under bet's looking good.
Yeah, no, I'd say the under's pretty good there. Yeah, I just wanted to not belabor that too long. We got to get out of here. We are going to be back Friday with our week 4 parlay. We'll let you know James is going to be here with us for that. But yeah, outro music is River Road by Justin Muth. Catch you on Friday. Let's try to beat the Patriots.
Later.
River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long. River Road, where have all the women gone? Have they kissed her hand and waved you bye-bye? Have they thought about crossing your double yellow lines? River Road, they love the way you whine.